No one expected Joe Rogan to say what he said. Because when he went live on his podcast this week, people assumed he was going to talk UFC, comedy, aliens, mushrooms, the usual. But instead, he dropped a bomb that sent shockwaves through every political circle. Every conservative influencer network, every TPUSA group chat, and especially straight into Erika Kirk's world. Out of nowhere, Joe leaned into the mic, eyes narrowed, voice low, and said, "There's a rumor going around that Erika Kirk has a plan. A real plan. A plan that involves the White House." The entire internet froze. He didn't laugh. He didn't smirk. He didn't treat it like a joke. He sounded dead serious. Then he added, "And the crazy part. People inside that movement think she wants to be First Lady." The internet absolutely melted down because for Montez, there have been whispers about Montez's bizarre political positioning. Her sudden obsession with high-level political couples, her weird involvement in certain marriages, her strategic friendships with powerful men's wives, and her quiet attempts to inject herself into Washington's social circles. But nobody expected Joe Rogan to say it out loud. The man with the biggest podcast in the world. The man whose audience is bigger than entire news networks. The man whose every sentence becomes a viral clip. Within seconds, Twitter exploded. First Lady. Who told Joe this? Erika is trying to be WHAT. No way she actually thinks she can pull that off. Joe Rogan does not say stuff like this unless he heard it from someone high up. Then the real shocker hit. Joe said he heard it from someone inside the conservative movement. Someone deeply connected. Someone who has seen enough behind the scenes to know the difference between gossip and an actual plan. And Joe didn't stop there. He said, "When you watch how she moves, who she attaches herself to, the people she targets, the women she tries to replace. It makes sense." He said it calmly, quietly, almost like he didn't want to believe it himself. But the craziest part, he hinted that Erika's moves, the drama with TPUSA, the sabotage, the behind-the-scenes manipulation, the obsession with political couples weren't emotional mistakes, they were steps. Steps toward something bigger, something more calculated. Something way more insane than anyone thought. And just when viewers thought he was joking, Joe dropped the final punch. "I've seen messages. If they're real, then she wasn't trying to influence a movement. She was trying to position herself to marry into the Oval Office." The internet screamed. Creators stitched the clip. Political commentators froze. Conservative women shook their heads in disbelief. And Erika's name rose to number 1, trending in under 40 minutes. Because this wasn't just scandal. This was delusion-level ambition. And according to Joe Rogan, Erika didn't just dream of becoming First Lady. She had a secret plan, and the receipts proving it are already circulating inside private group chats. Now the entire world wants to know, how far did Erika go? Who was she targeting? Which political family did she try to infiltrate? And what evidence does Joe Rogan actually have? Because whatever he saw shook him enough to talk, long before Joe Rogan ever said Erika Kirk's name into a microphone. Long before the clip went viral, before political commentators choked mid-sentence, before influencers started whispering about a First Lady fantasy. This story had already been unfolding quietly behind the scenes, long before the world knew her name. Erika Kirk knew exactly who she wanted to become. She didn't want to be an organizer. She didn't want to be an influencer. She didn't want to be a commentator. She didn't want to be just another conservative woman online. She wanted proximity to power, soft power first, emotional influence, access to key rooms, positions that don't look important on paper, but quietly shape decisions. But that was only step 1, because from the very beginning, Erika understood something most people will never admit out loud. You don't need political experience to enter politics. You don't need credentials. You don't even need popularity. You only need one thing: connection. And Erika learned how to build connection like a weapon. She knew how to charm people. She knew how to appear humble. She knew how to look soft, nurturing, spiritual, the kind of woman political families trust instantly because she seems safe. But behind that softness, there was calculation. The insider who spoke privately with Candace and later with Rogan said something chilling. Erika wasn't looking for influence. She was looking for a husband, not a normal husband, not a business partner, not a public figure, a political husband, someone rising. Someone who would need a calm, supportive, photogenic spouse, someone whose image she could help mold, someone whose platform she could help shape, someone she could stand beside on debate stages, someone who could eventually get close to the Oval Office, someone she could ride all the way to the First Lady title. And according to the insider, Erika didn't hide this ambition. Not privately, not with her closest allies, not during strategy calls, not even in group chats. She treated her relationships like chess pieces. She treated political events like auditions. She treated high-level donors like stepping stones. She treated powerful political wives like obstacles to study. But the true turning point, the moment this quiet ambition turned into a strategic mission, happened the year she began connecting herself to TPUSA leadership. Not for a job, not for influence, for access. Because TPUSA is one of the only conservative organizations in America where young women, rising politicians, donors, strategists, and media personalities cross paths constantly. Every conference, every gala, every influencer dinner, every backstage VIP room, it's where political empires begin. And Erika walked into those rooms like she already knew her destiny. People noticed immediately that she wasn't behaving like most newcomers. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't shy. She wasn't overwhelmed. She floated from table to table with purpose. She joined conversations strategically. She mirrored people's tone, body language, energy. She made everyone believe she understood them. She listened for weaknesses. She watched for insecurities. She identified which political wives were insecure, which politicians felt isolated, which rising stars needed emotional support, and then she inserted. But it wasn't random, the insider said. Erika had criteria, a list of traits she specifically looked for in political men. Ambitious, emotionally dependent on strong approval, public-facing, rising. But with a gap, she could fill a supportive persona missing from their image. She never went after the loud, chaotic types. She went after the controlled, intellectual, rising political men who lacked strong emotional support structures. Men who wanted a stable, present wife. Men whose careers could skyrocket if they had the right partner. Men who were advised to look family-friendly in the public eye. Men who could eventually run for president, the insider said. She genuinely believed she could become a political wife. But a political wife is nothing without connections. And that's where TPUSA became her playground. She used girl-next-door charm to disarm young influencers, used spiritual language to gain trust, used emotional vulnerability to make people feel special, used prayer sessions to gather personal details, used mentorship language to gain access to powerful men's wives. And once she had access, she started testing for weaknesses, quietly, subtly. Slowly, she watched which couples were stable. She watched which wives were secure. She watched which marriages were private. She watched which politicians were vulnerable. She watched which rising men felt misunderstood or undervalued. Then she began targeting the most strategic couple she had access to: JD and Usha Vance. JD, charismatic, rising star, rapidly gaining political traction. A once underestimated figure now becoming a national name. A potential future VP. A potential future president. Usha, brilliant, respected, composed, unshakable. The exact kind of First Lady America takes seriously. But Erika didn't see. Usha's strength, she saw Usha as an obstacle, because Erika believed she could be that woman. The insider said Erika became fixated, borderline obsessed with understanding. The Vance's dynamic. She watched how Usha communicated, how she interacted with staff, how she carried herself at events, how she spoke with donors, how she managed her husband's political life. Erika didn't want to be like USH. She wanted to replace Usha. She wanted that role, that presence, that proximity, that trajectory. The insider revealed a message Erika once sent to someone she considered a trusted confidant. She makes it look so easy. But imagine if someone warmer had that role. Warmer meaning her, meaning she saw herself as a better fit for a political spouse role than Usha Vance, meaning she was studying her. Competition, meaning the First Lady fantasy. Wasn't armor, it was a blueprint. But the craziest part? She didn't just study political wives. She studied political marriages. She studied what made them work. She studied what caused fractures. She studied how political pressure creates emotional This wasn't delusion. This was strategy. She began intentionally inserting herself between men and their wives, between staff and leadership, between influencers and their partners, between political couples and their support systems, always positioning herself as the one who understood, the one who saw the truth, the one who cared deeply, the one who could guide them spiritually, and the most disturbing detail. According to the insider, Erika once said, "America needs a First Lady who can influence hearts. Someone like me. Someone like me." Not someone like she meant herself. She believed it was possible. She believed it was destiny. She believed she just needed the right husband. And the moves she made inside TPUSA weren't about friendship. They were about positioning, and that is why Joe Rogan's statement wasn't random. It wasn't exaggeration. It wasn't sensationalism. It was based on real conversations, real messages, real behavior patterns, patterns that stretched across years. And now, the public finally knows what the insiders have known for a long time. Erika didn't want influence. She wanted a crown. The moment Joe Rogan said those words on his podcast, Erika Kirk has a plan to become First Lady. Every political group chat in America detonated. At first, people didn't want to believe it. It sounded insane, dramatic, too wild to be true. But the insiders didn't laugh. Because the people who had worked with Erika, the people who saw her moves up close, the people who watched her attach herself to power like a vine wrapping around a tree, said the same thing. It's not a joke. She's been planning this for years, and that's where the real conflict begins. Because the rumor Rogan heard didn't come from a random commenter or an anonymous tip, or some influencer gossip chain. It came from someone who knew Erika personally. Someone who saw her manipulation patterns firsthand. Someone who watched her attempt to position herself near married political men. Someone who saw her target the Van CES. This source wasn't just connected. This source was inside. The same insider who leaked information to Candace Owens. The same insider who warned TPUSA staff privately. The same insider who kept screenshots, audio notes, and a timeline of Erika's strategy. The insider who said she wasn't trying to be influential. She was trying to be a political spouse. And they had proof. Everything starts with a private TPUSA retreat, a closed door, off-camera event hosted for top donors, senior staff, and political guests. Phones collected, NDAs signed. Everything quiet, But nothing stays quiet forever. At this retreat, Erika allegedly made comments that completely shifted how people viewed her. She didn't act like a staff member. She acted like someone auditioning for a role. She floated from table to table, inserting herself into conversations between political couples. She complimented wives in a way that felt rehearsed. She asked husbands questions that sounded like campaign prep. She positioned herself strategically near every rising political man in attendance, and then she made the mistake that later ended. Up in the insider's hands, she joked half-seriously that a woman like her could really elevate a future president's image. People laughed awkwardly, but she didn't. She clarified, "No, I'm serious. Some of these men need a wife with presence. A woman who can guide them spiritually. A woman who understands the heart of America." The insider said they froze. Because the way Erika said a woman like me wasn't playful, it was declaration, but the twist. This wasn't the first time she said something like that. The screenshots, later leaked to Candace, revealed messages Erika had sent months earlier. Messages where she described political wives as placeholders. Messages where she claimed certain rising politicians don't have the right partner for the next level. Messages where she said things like, "A strong woman can change a man's destiny. Some wives aren't equipped for leadership roles. I could guide someone all the way to the top." Who talks like that? Someone with delusion? Someone with ambition? Or someone with a plan? And then we hit the first major twist. Because Joe Rogan didn't just mention Erika wanting to be First Lady. He revealed why people inside the movement believed it. He said, "I've seen messages that look like she was trying to destabilize certain marriages." The internet blew up because now the theory wasn't just about Erika chasing political men. It was about Erika trying to remove their wives. This matched exactly what the insider had told Candace. Erika saw political wives as obstacles. Her pattern was always the same: befriend the wife, then isolate her emotionally. She waits for cracks in the marriage, then inserts herself as support. But the receipts Leo Rogan hinted at, they were worse than anyone expected. One thread in particular, now viral in private group chats, showed Erika talking to a close friend about a prominent political couple. In the message, Erika said, "She's too quiet, too cold, too formal. America won't connect with her." But imagine someone more compassionate standing beside him. Someone more compassionate. Someone like her. The friend replied, "Erika, please tell me you're not trying to replace political wives." And Erika wrote 3 chilling words. "Dream bigger, babe. Dream bigger." What is bigger than replacing a political wife? Becoming one. And that's where the first massive internal blow-up happened. Because at a TPUSA backstage event, 2 staffers overheard Erika making comments about a politician's marriage, comments that were never okay to make. One staffer heard Erika say, "He needs a woman who understands purpose." Another heard, "She's holding him back." Another heard, "If he had a partner with vision, he could be unstoppable." These weren't innocent remarks. These were calculated assessments. The staffers reported the comments to leadership privately. They said Erika was acting like a casting director for someone else's marriage, but the real twist came when traces of these conversations reached Usha Vance. Not because anyone told her, but because Erika herself tried to advise her, and Usha immediately recognized the manipulation. According to the insider, Erika tried to pull her usual routine: soft tone, concerned expression. "You seem tired. I sense something off. You're carrying too much. People don't understand you the way I do." But Usha Vance isn't some insecure influencer. She is a high-level attorney, a woman with a steel spine. A woman who has navigated more political pressure than Erika could ever imagine. A woman who knows when someone is trying to psychologically infiltrate her space. Usha clocked the manipulation. Instantly, she cut off the interaction politely but sharply. And Erika? She panicked. Because she wasn't just trying to form a friendship. She was trying to position herself, but Usha rejecting her created a domino effect. If Usha didn't trust her, JD wouldn't either. If JD didn't trust her, the political circles wouldn't either. And if political circles didn't trust her, her entire First Lady blueprint collapsed. That's when Erika reportedly began whispering things behind Usha's back. Quiet comments only made when certain people were listening. She seems withdrawn. She doesn't seem happy. She looks overwhelmed. She's stressed. Maybe she needs support. You can tell things are tense. These weren't observations. These were traps. This was the pattern. The same pattern she used on other wives. The same pattern she used on female staffers. The same pattern she used to isolate the chief of staff. This is what Joe Rogan meant when he said, "She targets women who stand in her way." But Erika made a fatal mistake. She tried this tactic on the wrong wife. Because Usha Vance is respected, protected, listened to, connected, trusted by some of the most powerful people in Washington. And when Usha sensed the manipulation, she quietly warned certain individuals inside. To Pusa, that's when the conflict erupted behind the scenes. Leadership confronted Erika. She denied, she cried, she shifted blame. She claimed she just cares too much. But the insider said the truth was clear. She was assessing political marriages like career opportunities. And the first twist. The thing Joe Rogan didn't fully reveal is that the First Lady plan wasn't some new fantasy. It was years in the making. Erika had already tried to get close to multiple political families, inserted herself into wives' emotional lives, monitored rising politicians, positioned herself near certain men, made concerning comments about being aligned. With the future president, whispered toxic narratives about women whose husbands were politically rising, evaluated which marriages looked vulnerable, told friends. She was meant for something bigger than TPUSA, and the insider confirmed. At least 2 political wives complained about Erika, quietly, privately, but clearly. This wasn't a rumor, it was a pattern, and Joe Rogan wasn't exposing gossip. He was exposing a strategy. A strategy where Erika positioned herself step by step, not toward influence, but toward the White House. And this was only the first twist. Because the second twist is that someone, a man Erika trusted, was encouraging this plan. Someone powerful. Someone she listened to above everyone else. Someone who benefited from using her ambition. And he is about to be exposed next. The internet was already on fire after Joe Rogan's revelation. Creators were screaming. Political commentators were frozen. Even people who had never followed TPUSA suddenly became obsessed with Erika's alleged First Lady blueprint. He held something back, something too big to say casually, something he wasn't comfortable revealing without confirmation. And then, confirmation arrived. From a source Joe didn't expect. A source who contacted him directly after the podcast aired. A source with receipts. A TPUSA insider. The same insider Candace Owens was speaking to. The same insider who had screenshots, audio notes, and an entire timeline of Erika's political obsession. And this insider didn't just confirm Joe's claim, they expanded it. Their message to Joe Rogan started with 6 words. She was being guided by someone. Joe froze. He read it twice. And then the insider added, he wasn't just enabling her. He was directing her. That's when things went from scandal to conspiracy level shocking, because up until now, the internet believed Erika acted alone. That she was manipulative, ambitious, emotionally unstable, and strategically inserting herself into political marriages. But the insider said, no. She wasn't the mastermind. She was the instrument. And then they sent Joe Rogan something he wasn't prepared for. A 47-second voice memo. In this memo, Erika wasn't whispering. She wasn't emotional. She wasn't pretending to be soft or spiritual. She was listening. Listening to a man who was giving her explicit instructions. Marriages and politics are fragile. That's why timing matters. You don't need to break anything. You just need to plant doubts. If you position yourself correctly, opportunity will come. If she steps back, you step forward. And then the darkest line. America responds to archetypes. You can play one. Play one. Which archetype? Political wife. Future First Lady. Public figure. Mother of the nation. This man wasn't talking to Erika like a mentor. He was talking to her like a coach, a strategist, a manipulator, a puppeteer, someone who believed he could shape a political future using Erika like a chess piece. The internet went ballistic when this recording leaked into private circles. Who was this man? And then came the reveal. He wasn't a pastor. He wasn't a consultant. He wasn't a donor. He wasn't a random advisor. He was someone at the core of TPUSA operations, a man with real authority, real access, real power, a man who could influence staff, shape leadership decisions, and create openings for Erika in political spaces. He was the director of strategic partnerships, one of the highest-ranking internal figures, a man who handled relationships with political offices, donors, and rising conservative voices. A man whose job was literally to build bridges between TPUSA and Washington. And he was using Erika to build a bridge for himself. Because here's the twist. He was the one who wanted influence over Washington. He was the one who wanted access to political families. He was the one who wanted to expand his footprint. He was the one who studied political marriages. He was the one who saw Usha Vance as too strong of a gatekeeper. He was the one who whispered that certain political couples were imbalanced. He was the one who believed he could manipulate public narratives through influencers. Erika didn't invent the plan. She followed his plan. The insider's text to Joe Rogan summed it up chillingly. She didn't want to be First Lady on her own. He convinced her she could. And that's when Joe received the most shocking message of all. A screenshot. A single screenshot. But one that changed everything. The message was from the Director of Strategic Partnerships to Erika. It said, "Your influence doesn't depend on your platform. It depends on whose position you can shift." Shift. A position. A man's position. A political position. A wife's standing. A marriage dynamic. A campaign direction. The implications were horrifying because this was the missing piece. He wasn't trying to get Erika into the First Lady role. He was trying to use her to create influence pathways for himself. Hey, First Lady is one of the most powerful, unelected roles in the entire country. Private access to the president. Private access to political families. Private access to strategy rooms. If he could influence her, he could influence everything. But the insider wasn't done. They told Joe Rogan, "There's more. There's a step 2. Joe asked what step 2 was. The insider hesitated, then wrote, "Destabilization." It was already in motion. Destabilization of WHAT. A marriage. A public image. A political couple's reputation. A rising campaign. A senator's household. Joe demanded proof. The insider sent a 9-second clip. In this clip, Erika is panicking. Her voice is anxious, trembling, confused. She won't step back. She's stronger than he said. "This isn't working." A male voice answers calmly. "That's because you're being too gentle." Pressure creates opportunity. Pressure. Opportunity. This wasn't politics anymore. This was psychological warfare. And then, only seconds into the clip, the insider sent the final twist, a still image from a deleted text thread between Erika and the man. He wrote, "Remember what I taught you. If you weaken the foundation, the whole structure shifts. Weaken the foundation." Usha was the foundation. The political marriage was the foundation. The spouse is always the foundation. This wasn't about Erika wanting to be First Lady. This was about exploiting the political wife position the man was using Erika to destabilize women in political circles. Because women are the emotional anchors in politics, remove the anchor, and the narrative collapses. But here's the craziest part. The insider said the plan had three stages. Stage 1, influence. Stage 2, destabilization. Stage 3. When Joe asked what Stage 3 was, the insider refused to type it out. They only said, "Stage 3 is illegal." Joe froze. He asked again. The insider responded, "I can't put it in writing. But the authorities are already aware, double quotes, authorities." The internet lost its mind because this meant one thing. Joe Rogan wasn't exposing a rumor. He was exposing an operation. A manipulation operation targeting political families. A psychological operation targeting political marriages. And a power operation designed to give one man behind the scenes massive influence in Washington. Erika's First Lady plan wasn't her dream. It was his design. She wasn't delusional. She was weaponized. And the final twist? The insider said the man wasn't done. Not even after Erika was exposed. Not even after Joe Rogan went public. Not even after the messages leaked. They said, "He has another girl already." Joe's jaw dropped. Another woman being groomed. Another attempted political insertion. Another emotional manipulation tactic being prepared. The insider confirmed. He's moving on. And this time, the target is someone even more influential. Joe Rogan ended the call, stunned. And now? The world is waiting, because Step 3 is still hidden. And the man behind Erika is still operational the moment Joe Rogan's revelation hit the internet. The reaction was unlike anything TPUSA, conservative media, or political influencers had ever seen. This wasn't a scandal anymore. This was a detonation. A political wildfire burning across every platform. Every timeline, every group chat in real time. Within minutes, TikTok went feral. Creators' faces filled the screen, eyes wide. Joe Rogan just said, "What? Wait, she wants to be First Lady. Who is the man coaching her? We need names now." This is not gossip. This is strategy. This is actually scary. Erika was trying to climb into what? Everyone began dissecting Rogan's clip frame by frame. Slowing down his voice, analyzing his tone. Zooming into the background to see if he looked nervous. One creator screamed. You can hear it in his voice. This guy is scared of what he knows. Another said, Joe never drops insider political drama like this unless it's real. This is serious. Then Instagram exploded. Every conservative meme page reposted the clip. Every political gossip account ran theories. Every influencer with even a slight TPUSA connection got tagged 100 times. Comments flooded in by the second. THIS is actually insane. She really thought she could replace a senator's wife. Hello? Imagine having delusion levels this strong. So the plan was, attach to a rising political man, sabotage the wife, become the new First Lady. I'm embarrassed for her at this point, but the real chaos started on Twitter X. The political commentators, the real ones. The ones who normally ignore influencer drama, suddenly stopped everything to weigh in. One journalist tweeted, "I've covered conservative movements for 10 years. I've never seen something like this. This is internal engineering, not a scandal." Another, "If a TPUSA leader coached a young woman to destabilize political marriages. This is bigger than influencer culture. This is political manipulation." Another, "If Joe's source is correct. Someone inside TPUSA was orchestrating psychological influence operations." The phrase psychological influence operations went viral instantly. People stitched those 4 words everywhere. Creators made videos explaining how manipulation tactics work. Political analysts suddenly became relationship experts. Everyone began debating whether Erika was a villain or a victim groomed by a much darker figure. Hashtags shot up into trending. Hashtag Erika Kirk. Hashtag First Lady Plot. Hashtag Rogan exposes hashtag political manipulation. Hashtag TPUS scandal. Hashtag Who is the mentor? Hashtag Step 3 then. The memes began. Thousands of them. People editing Erika's face onto First Lady portraits. People joking about her campaign slogan. People photoshopping her into presidential photos. People making mock posters. Future First Lady, now auditioning. People recreating her alleged messages like they were scenes from a Netflix drama. But while Twitter joked, Washington was panicking. Political wives started texting each other. Groups chat after group chat. Screenshot after screenshot. Voice note after voice note. Everyone asked the same thing. Everyone asked the same thing. Was she analyzing us too? One DC staffer posted anonymously, "You don't understand how big this is. Political marriages are sacred. If someone tries to infiltrate those, that's a security threat." Then a well-known conservative woman posted a chilling message. "We've warned each other privately about women like this for years." Someone finally said the quiet part out loud. The internet froze. Women like this. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know more. Was Erika part of a bigger pattern? Were other influencers trying similar moves? Were political couples being studied like chess pieces? Were wives being undermined quietly by younger women coached by older men? The speculation went nuclear. Then came the PODCAS. Ben Shapiro, "I am not touching this until we know more. But if Rogan received actual messages, Erika has a major problem." Tim Pool, "This isn't influencer drama. This is political infiltration." Candace Owens, "I tried telling people. They didn't listen." Charlie Kirk, "Awkward silence. We're looking into internal dynamics. I have no comment at this time." Awkward didn't even begin to describe it. Then Fox News chimed in. "A stranger rumor has emerged about a TPUSA personality allegedly attempting to position herself as a future First Lady." And that headline alone fueled a week's worth of chaos. But the most terrifying reaction came from conservative women in politics. They were angry, furious, offended, scared, triggered, because they KNOW what it's like to deal with ambitious women who don't respect boundaries. They KNOW what it feels like to have young influencers insert themselves too close to their husbands. They KNOW how political men become targets for obsession. They KNOW how easily a narrative can spiral. A prominent senator's wife tweeted, "Women like this are dangerous, and the men who coach them are worse." The tweet got 200,000 likes, but the reaction wasn't just emotional. Professionals weighed in too. A political communications expert said, "The allegation is true that Erika was coached to create cracks in political marriages. Then this is one of the most sophisticated psychological influence schemes I've ever seen." Another political strategist said, "There are people who spend their entire careers looking for a way to infiltrate the personal lives of elected officials. If a TPUSA figure got this close, it's a national red flag." And then, things took a darker turn. Former TPUSA staff members began contacting journalists privately. Many said the same thing. We always knew something was off. She inserted herself where she didn't belong. She always targeted the wives. She acted like she was auditioning. She talked about politics like she was destined for it. She made comments about being aligned with the right man. She thought she could guide a future president. These weren't random complaints. These were patterns. And the fact they were all coming out now means people were finally fearless. But the biggest reaction, the one that shifted the entire conversation, came from Washington itself. A well-connected insider, someone from the Senate, leaked a statement anonymously. People here are very aware of Erika Kirk now, and they are very aware of the man coaching her. This isn't over. That one leak changed everything, because that meant Washington wasn't ignoring this. Washington was watching. Washington was investigating. Washington wanted to know, who is the mentor? Who else did he groom? What was the ultimate plan? And most terrifying of all, what is step 3? That's when the anonymous TPUSA leak account, the same one that had been silent for days, reappeared. It posted one message. Step 3 was never meant for Erika. It was meant for him. The internet went silent, because now the target wasn't just political wives. The target was someone much higher. And the final twist. The insider said step 3 was already in motion, and stopping it might be impossible. For days, the internet kept asking the same thing. What is step 3? What was the endgame? What was the mentor aiming for? Why groom Erika for years? Why target political wives? Why plant narratives? Study marriages like battle blueprints. Everyone assumed step 3 was about Erika, about her delusions, about her plan to replace a political wife, about her fantasy of becoming First Lady. But the insider's final message, step 3, was never meant for Erika. It was meant for him. Changed everything, because that meant Erika wasn't the final piece. She wasn't the weapon. She wasn't the endgame. She was the test run, the trial version, the prototype, and the mentor. He was setting up something much bigger than one woman's ambition. He wasn't building Erika up for her future. He was building her up for his. The real twist. He was the one positioning himself for the White House. Not today, not next election. But eventually, he was building what insiders call a shadow political emotional network. A pipeline of influencers. A network of women who could infiltrate political households through friendship, emotional validation, spiritual counseling, and strategic support. And through them, he could control men, not through policy, not through lobbying, not through party structures, through marriage. Because political wives determine who has access, who influences decisions, who is trusted, who gets private time, who shapes public image, who stabilizes campaigns, who filters information, who whispers in a politician's ear. If he controlled the wives, he controlled the husbands. If he controlled the marriages, he controlled the movement. And if he controlled the movement, he controlled the future. This was step 3. Not breaking marriages, replacing gatekeepers, installing women loyal to him, women who owed their rise to him, women he groomed psychologically, women he melded through spiritual manipulation, women who believed they had been chosen, women who thought they were destined for greatness but didn't realize it wasn't their greatness he cared about. It was his, according to the insider. The mentor once sent a message to someone in his inner circle. Politicians can't be controlled, but their wives can. That line circulated in political group chats like a horror movie script, because it meant he wasn't after Erika's power. He was after political power. Erika was just one chapter. But here's the part no one expected. The insider said Erika failed him. She cracked emotionally. She went off script. She panicked too early. She tried to move too fast. She targeted the wrong wife. She underestimated Usha Vance. She underestimated the chief of staff. She underestimated Candace Owens. She underestimated Joe Rogan. She exposed the pattern before the mentor could finish the plan. And once Erika fell apart, he dropped her. Immediately, coldly, strategically. HEARTLESS. Why? The insider said he already had someone new lined up. But this new woman, she wasn't an influencer. She wasn't a soft-spoken figure like Erika. She wasn't a spiritual mentor type. She was WORS. Polished, smart, media-trained, brilliant, ambitious, highly presentable, married to no one, tied to no scandal, perfectly positioned, someone who could actually pull off. Step 3. Someone the mentor had been grooming quietly out of public view, far from TPUSA drama. But the craziest twist of all, the insider revealed that the mentor's real target was not J.D. Vance, not a senator's wife, not a political newcomer. His real target has presidential ambitions, and Step 3 was meant to destabilize that household. This is what Joe Rogan didn't say. This is what Candace didn't leak. This is what the insider refused to put into writing. This is why Step 3 was illegal. This is why DC group chats went silent. This is why wives started texting each other in fear. Because a man inside TPUSA with political connections, strategic training, psychological manipulation tactics was allegedly assembling a network of women to undermine political marriages that stand in the way of his own rise. This wasn't a scandal. It was an operation. And Erika, she wasn't the mastermind, she was the casualty. The insider said he used her ambition against her. She thought she was climbing. She didn't realize she was being used as cover. And then the most chilling line yet, he needed Erika to fail publicly. It distracts from the real girl he's moving forward with. Joe Rogan reportedly received a blurred photo of this next woman. He hasn't shown it. He hasn't said her name. He hasn't addressed it publicly. But insiders say she's already connected to a very high-ranking political figure, someone whose influence, if compromised, could alter an entire future presidential campaign. And at 4:12 a.m. last night, the anonymous TPUSA leak account reappeared one last time. It posted one sentence. He doesn't want to be near the White House. He wants to be in it. And then, deleted, gone, vanished, leaving one final terrifying question hanging over the entire country. If Erika was Step 1, if the destabilization attempts were Step 2, then Step 3 is already underway. We just haven't seen it yet. If you've made it this far, after watching Erika's First Lady fantasy unravel, after seeing Joe Rogan expose the mentor behind her, after hearing about Step 1, Step 2, and that horrifying Step 3, that wasn't meant for her, but for HIM, then you already know the truth. We are not dealing with a scandal. We are dealing with a political operation, an operation that used Erika Kirk, an operation that targeted political wives, an operation designed to infiltrate marriages, an operation aimed at reshaping the conservative movement from the inside out, an operation that wasn't about influence, was about control. And now the question becomes, who is the next woman? Who is the new project? Who is the real target of Step 3? And how much damage has already been done before the world even realized what was happening? Because trust me, Washington is talking. Influencers are whispering. Political insiders are panicking. Wives are comparing notes. Staffers are digging through old messages. And people in the movement are asking themselves, how many more girls did he manipulate? How many political marriages were analyzed? How many men were targeted emotionally? How many relationships were studied like blueprints? How far has Step 3 progressed already? Is another political family already being infiltrated, right? So here's what I want you to do. Scroll down right now and drop your theory. Do you think the new woman is someone from inside TPUSA? Do you think she's already close to a rising political figure? Do you think the mentor is still operating freely? Do you think Step 3 involves a political marriage we all know? Do you think Joe Rogan will drop more evidence? Do you think Candace Owens is holding back receipts? Do you think more insiders will speak out? Or do you think this scandal is about to reach national headlines? Tell me your theory now. Hit like if you think the mentor needs to be exposed immediately. Hit like if you think political wives deserve protection. Hit like if you think Joe Rogan should release the blurred photo. Hit like if you want full Step 3 uncovered before it's too late. And if this is somehow the first time you're joining us, subscribe. Turn on all notifications. Because the second this mentor makes his next move, the second the new woman steps into the spotlight, the second Step 3 becomes public eye. Be right here breaking it down minute by minute before anyone else even understands what they're looking at. Drop your theory. Hit like, subscribe, because whatever is coming next, it's bigger than Erika, bigger than TPUSA, bigger than gossip. This time, the target is Washington.